Hello again, everyone. Today I'll be going through my Jabbas Palace graded cards with bonus content. What could that be? Ooh. All right, well, let's get started. So here's R2, so one of the you could call alter egos, but alternate versions of R2D2 from the Jabbas Palace set. Looks pretty good, really. Maybe a very slight edge wear on the top back there. Surface is very good. Corners, borders, pretty good except for that minor flaw. Centering's pretty good, maybe slightly to the right. Top bottom centering's pretty good, maybe slightly up of center, but nothing too drastic. Maybe it's got a little bit of a funky upper right corner, but not too bad. Yeah, so Jabbas Palace was, let's see, I don't know in numerical order. It was released after Cloud City, before Special Edition, I think. Yeah, that sounds right. It's kind of in the middle of the Star Wars sets. It's probably one of the, if you want to word it that way, less desirable sets, just because it was printed in high amounts. The cards weren't terribly, as a whole, weren't terribly useful from a gameplay perspective, and yeah, there were a lot of them printed, so thought it was kind of one of the less desirable sets, but you know, it actually did have certain main character cards, like R2D2, Lando's alter ego, one of Leia's alter egos, and then of course Jabba the Hutt. I'm trying to think, are there a couple other cards? Yeah, I mean, you have some of the, Salacious Crumb, like the old cackling animal that Jabba had as his pet. You had the Rancor, the Sarlacc. I mean, there's a few cards in there, but yeah, as a whole, it just wasn't as desirable a set as some of the other ones for various reasons that I mentioned. Yeah, so here's another R2 that I pulled back in the day. This one also got a 9. Centering's a little bit to the right. Top bottom centering looks pretty good though. Maybe a little bit funky corner. Other than that, it looks pretty solid. Yeah, there you go. A little bit of a ding on that corner right there. Other than that, though, pretty darn good looking. So that'll get you a PSA 9 mint. Here we go. Here's Tom Tell Screech. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but that's Lando's ego when he alter ego when he impersonated a bounty hunter for infiltrating Jabba's palace. So centering, top, bottom, pretty good. Left, right, also pretty good. I don't know if it's just an optical illusion, but I feel like all these top right corners in general, a lot of them are cut kind of, got a little bit of a slope to them. As for the rear, okay, there we go. A little bit of corner wear up there. Everything else pretty darn good. Surface in good shape. So there you go. That's one of the mint Landos, and I have another one. So this is also a mint 9. Centering here, perhaps a little bit, slightly left of center and slightly below center, so a little bit more room on the top border than the bottom, and a little bit more room on the right border than the left, but still pretty good. Again, there's that corner thing going on there. Seems like with a lot of Star Wars cards they did that, or maybe it's just an optical illusion again, I'm not really sure. But yeah, here we go. Corner, a little bit of some slight corner wear. That's just dust. Corner looks pretty good down there. Everything looks pretty good. Yeah, very good. Another mint Lando. Here's an interesting one. This one's Princess Leia Organa. This one only got an 8 for some reason, and I actually, looked at the card. I couldn't quite figure this one out. Because centering, left-right centering is pretty good. Top-bottom centering, also pretty decent. Maybe slightly more room on the bottom than the top, but not much. Surface, oh, there we go. I see now. So it's hard to see. You might not be able to see it on the camera, but right around where right about here, there's a little kind of indentation on the card. Yeah, you can see it. Very, very slight. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Yep, right there. Yep. So other than that, the card looks pretty damn good. Like, the corners on this one are really damn good. Yep. So that's enough to take it down to near mint 8. So you really got to watch those surface defects like that when they're not just cosmetic like scratches. When they actually affect the integrity of the card, they really ding you on the grade. So this one got a near mint 8. All right, so here's Jabba the Hutt, probably the most, actually call it famous. I mean, you think of Jabba's Palace, Jabba the Hutt, right? Although from that set, I don't know, is he the most desirable card? Maybe between him and probably Princess Leia Organa, I'd say those were kind of the two most iconic cards. Maybe even Princess Leia Organa might have been more iconic just because it's like the Leia in bikini. You know, you think Princess Leia Star Wars, you either think of the version of her in probably A New Hope where she has the hair that looks like cinnamon buns on the side of her head, or you think of the Leia, slave Leia with the metal bikini on. So those are probably the two most iconic forms of her in Star Wars. So that's probably why it's a desirable card for her. But yeah, Jabba the Hutt, a little bit left of center, significant. I'd say significantly left of center. There's a lot more room on the right than the left. Top bottom centering is pretty even though. No real wear on the surface or the edges. Back, maybe some very slight wear on the bottom corner there. Other than that though, everything looks pretty good. So, Jabba the Hutt. Alright, I mentioned bonus content, so I did collect a few cards after Jabba's Palace Special Edition. I had actually moved a lot over to Pokemon, but I did buy a few. Actually, no, I'm not sure what prompted me. There was one time when Endor was in, I actually bought almost an entire booster box of Endor for whatever reason. So I had some of those cards, and out of that came the Daughter of Skywalker card. This is one of Princess Leia's alternate cards. It's similar to Luke had a card called Son of Skywalker in Jabbas set. This is Leia's version of that, Daughter of Skywalker, meaning daughter of Anakin Skywalker. Just like Luke. Oh, not quite just like Luke. Luke was Power 5, Ability 5. Leia's Power 4, Ability 5. But either way, came in mint condition. Front looks very good. Centering is pretty good, maybe slightly left of center, maybe slightly up of center, but not too bad. On the back, looks pretty darn good for one of the mint 9s. If I could say, maybe very slight wear on that corner there, but it's almost imaginary. You're gonna have to look at it the right way. Yeah, so pretty good. Maybe the centering and then that little ding were enough to keep it from a Gem Mint 10. And then I actually, again, got into Pokemon, and then I saw one time I went to the store, there was the Death Star 2, so I bought a few packs of it. Actually, in hindsight, I got pretty lucky, because I only bought, I don't know, a handful of packs. I had a method where I was in elementary school, I swore if I picked certain packs out of the box, I'd be more likely to get, the mains or the characters I wanted. It seemed to work, but again, it's like what with sports, those kind of superstitious traditions, they're only dumb if they don't work, right? Well, it worked for me, so anyhow, this one's the Wedge Antilles Red Squadron Leader from Death Star 2. This one got a mint 9. Yeah, it's a little bit below center. Left-right centering is pretty good, but top-bottom, it's a little bit down from the midpoint, but still pretty good. Borders are pristine, corners look very nice, surface is very good. Just a little bit of wear on a few of the corners, but it's not really significant, just probably the way it came out of the pack, so a little bit there. maybe a little bit on this corner as well. Yep. So that's Wedge Antilles red squadron leader for Best Star 2. So I mentioned I got really lucky. I mean, I got pretty lucky, but maybe not as lucky as I could have gotten. So this is my Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight I pulled. Like I mentioned, I only pulled like, I don't know, from the amount of cards I had, it couldn't have been more than 10 packs. It was probably about 5 packs, and I managed to get a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. So I actually, you know, put it in a soft sleeve because I wasn't really doing Star Wars at the time. Didn't really know much about, you know, how much it was worth at the time, which probably isn't as much as they're worth now. These things have been going for, I don't know, somewhere around, you know, 150 to 250, depending on your time and source, US dollars. I'm making this video in August of 2020, so I don't know, around now you probably get one for like 150 to 200 US dollars roughly. But anyways, so this is one I pulled straight out of a pack and put it in a soft sleeve and just kind of forgot about it until it's January. I was like, oh, you know, that card's pretty cool. Maybe I should submit that. Wonder if it'll get. I was kind of hoping for Gem Mint 10 because, again, I never really touched it. But I suspect what kept it from that is, again, this corner up here. I know there was someone that kind of mentioned on, I think it was a Facebook group, like they had a picture of it. Like, is this legitimate? Like, I don't understand. But yeah, I think it is, and unfortunately, I think that's what brought it down to a near mint 8, because other than that, the card is basically in immaculate shape. Like, there's no real whitening. Maybe if you look at the edge there, you could kind of imagine it, but no, there really isn't. So other than that, the card's in basically perfect shape, but just that corner there. I thought it was kind of poetic, because, you know, Luke Skywalker gets his arm chopped off by Darth Vader in the Cloud City, so I was like, okay, well, maybe it's like the shoulder of the card's messed up, his arm got chopped off. Maybe it's like an inside joke. I don't know, it probably wasn't. I just think it was, whatever reason, manufactured like this some ways. Maybe it had to do with, I mean, it could have been a lot of things. Either way, it only got a near mint to mint 8. I don't know how that really compares to lots of the Luke Skywalker Jedi Knights that you'd find. If you were to buy one, say, off of a Facebook group or off of eBay, like how would kind of compare to if you just got a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight graded that you'd find somewhere? Because again, these cards are, what, 20 years old. And this is called an ultra rare card, so what that means essentially is that it's a lot, let's see how I can explain this. So in the very first sets in Premiere and in A New Hope, and I believe Hoth as well, there were R1s and R2s, and essentially R1s were twice as rare as R2s. Then in later sets past there, all the rares were essentially the same frequency in the packs, up until there was a little bit of an exception with the foil cards, but then as for the cards in the normal sets with non-foils, most of the rares were the same rarity of pulling out of a pack, except then Death Star 2, there were what were called ultra rare cards. There was Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight for the light side, and Emperor Palpatine for the dark side, and I think it came out such that you were likely to get one roughly every, it wasn't every one booster box, which is kind of a bummer. It's like a little bit more than that, like 1.5 booster boxes roughly. So yeah, that would be kind of rough if you bought a new booster box for like, I don't know, what are they going for now? North of $1,000 probably for Death Star 2, and you don't even get a mint either Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight or Palpatine. I'd say Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight is probably slightly more desirable just because he is the main kind of protagonist of Star Wars in his final form, as you might say, from Dragon Ball Z. But yeah, I don't know, it's nice I got near mint 8. I would have loved to, I could pay mint or Gem Mint 10, but, you know, it is what it is, and I thought it might be useful just for some people being like, hey, are those corners legit? They're legit enough. You can still get a near mint 8, but yeah, it'll definitely ding you points on the PSA grading scale. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. I'll follow this up with my final grading video from this series on my Premiere cards. Yeah, thank you.